Hey guys, JD here. I hope you're doing well today. Got a new one in from Wixco that we're going to take a look at. Let's get it. All right, guys, we have the Prexston. Hope I'm saying that right. And this is a very nice, well-made, affordable option from Wixco. And it really has me reconsidering the pecking order in the budget realm. Yes, it is that good. Very well centered. You have proud liners that sit very nicely with the black G10 on here. You have a fold over deep carry pocket clip that not only has good retention, goes in and out of the pocket nicely, but it's also reversible, which I think is a big deal. You have a lanyard hole that does not prioritize over the pocket clip, and even though it does have dual barrel construction, I feel like they got that up tight enough to the top there where this rides nice and deep in the pocket. Flat scales, well textured, not too aggressive. It's not going to saw going in and out of the pocket. Dual means of deployment. You have an opening hole with chamfering to access it. You have very nice jimping here for a very low profile flipper tab with a detent that is tuned to the liner lock. And you have a very beautiful flat ground 14C28 in blade here, well coated. This thing is held up very nicely. Came with a fantastic factory edge and a good plunge grind. You can see the plunge grind is back a little ways. You will probably eventually get a smile, but if you sharpen similar to like a Spyderco and you just start here and work your way out, you probably can avoid it for a little while, or you can just increase that sharpening choil. The stop pin here on this particular one is actually behind the flipper tab, so you can, if you want, add a notch or extend the notch. You got plenty of blade belly on here where that won't be an issue. You got a nice thin blade stock, very thin grind on here, super slicey. I love about this one, even with the flipper tab, I have a comfortable 4-finger grip. I'm not cramped or crowded. It has a good thickness to it where it's not too overdone, so it does fill the hand up nicely. And this pocket clip doesn't really create a hot spot. It's just a I'm here pocket clip, but it's not really pokey or hot or irritable at all. Does not affect the ergos negatively. I like the jimping here. It's well placed, so I got some control here when I'm trying to cut with the knife with the thumb behind it if I need the control. If I need power, I can just simply go into the hammer grip and push through whatever material, rope, anything like that that I'm cutting through. Very comfortable to pull through as well if you're cutting a strap. Nice pokey tip, a little high for the pinch grip, but for a utility knife, it's going to be nice. They gave you a little swedge here too to reduce a little bit of drag and increase the aesthetics. Your access to the lock bar, really good on this one. And just look how smooth this action is. I mean, I am getting it. I'm trying to get it to sit right on the detent ball. I think there's a little bit of a ramp there. We'll check in the disassembly, but buttery smooth action. Excellent detent tune on this. I'm telling you, man, Wixco, really, you probably want to take a second look at them. Their fit and finish and build quality are just exceptional on here. Another thing to take note of, even though it does have proud steel liners, they are very heavily milled for weight reduction. Very heavily milled. So not going to be a super heavy knife. Not going to be ultra lightweight like a bug out, but it's going to be a nice weight for carry. It's going to feel nice in the hand, going to have good balance to it, going to be really, really comfortable. Let's do some quick size comparisons and we'll check the weight. I have two other budget knives here that I've really enjoyed this year, the Dremel from CJRB and the Duran from O Knife. This is another one that I really liked. I will say I feel like I don't think there's been a Wixco that I've encountered that I have not liked. The Skort may be my favorite, but that one's going to be closer to the $100 price point. This one's going to be closer to the $50 price point. So that's why I think I like this one so much. The aesthetics, the ergos, everything like that. Let me do two more you may be a little bit more familiar with, and then we'll go ahead and weigh this one. All right, here it is against my actual carry today. I said more familiar with, maybe not with the swordfish, but I think with the bodacious, which is very similar to the shaman, you'd be able to tell this is a full-size knife for sure. Let me get these two out of the way. We'll grab that scale and check the weight really quick. All right, scale out, cut on. I think this will be like 3.6, somewhere in that wheelhouse. That's very surprising. I would have never have guessed this knife would have weighed 4 ounces. That is surprising. Maybe it has to do with the fact that it's full sized with the full steel liners and a longer blade. But doesn't feel 4 ounces in the hand. And maybe that's because I was carrying the bodacious today. The bodacious coming in at 4.2, and with the applied weapon tech scales, I guess it does kind of feel very similar. That is surprising. Not really sure why I thought it was going to be lighter. Kind of feeling them at the same time. They do feel very similar, and of course knowing the weight probably does help. All right, final thoughts and impressions on the Prexston, guys. I do grade on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. I cap knives with budget-friendly materials such as steel, G10 micarta, 14C28N Nitro V, all going to be affordable materials that are going to limit it to a 7. By the way, if you like this one, I have a discount code down below and a link that helps the channel when you use the link, and the discount code will save you 20% at checkout. Now, grading, I do take into account the money for value, the ergos, performance both with the action and the cutting, and the aesthetics, which is subjective to what I like. There's a lot here that I really like, not too much to complain about on this particular one. The one thing that I do think that holds it back the most is just going to be the late detent ball. It feels like right about there is where the break is, and then it feels... No, it's a ledge, not a ramp. So right there, a little bit of a later break. I'd like to see them get that right around there. Just a little bit of an earlier detent ball, even if you got to kind of cut your lock bar different to get the detent ball over a little bit. And I think you could do that potentially based on where it's at. Just kind of do like a C or an L cut and get that detent ball over a little bit to get that in there. I'd like to see the plunge grind cleaned up a little bit more. It does have a little bit of a ramp. I'd like to see that brought in tighter. I think that would go a long way as well. So those two little minor nitpicks on this particular one are going to limit this to being a 6-7, but that is still a very strong score out of 7 if you think about where it lands in respect to how I grade these. Let me know what you think about this one down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the content, a like is appreciated and does help the channel, as does a comment. If you are not subscribed, your subscription's another way that you can support the channel. I appreciate those that do. Special shout out and thank you to the channel members. Love you guys. That's it for me today. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.